Anna was a young girl who lived with her parents in a quiet village nestled at the foot of towering mountains. From the time she could walk, the mountains felt like a second home, vast, wild, and full of wonder. Her father served as a rescuer with the local mountain rescue team, while her mother worked as a doctor at the village's only hospital. From an early age, Anna was raised to respect nature and to always lend a hand to those in need, values her parents lived by every day. Anna loved hiking in the mountains from a young age and enthusiastically attended a climbing class. Her coach noticed her talent in the first month of training. A year later, she was already participating in regional competitions. By the time she finished school, she had a whole shelf of medals and certificates. At 22, Anna became an experienced climber. She knew every trail in the nearby mountains. She could name all the dangerous spots and safe routes by heart. Local people often came to her for advice before difficult hikes. Anna decided to follow in her father's footsteps and become a rescuer. For several months, she prepared for the entrance exams to the rescue school and trained every day according to a special program. She studied medical and rescue books the day before leaving. Her training was unusually warm. The sun shone brightly in the clear sky. A light breeze carried the smell of mountain herbs. Anna decided to take one last hike before leaving. She carefully prepared her gear the night before, checking every carabiner and knot on the ropes. She packed a supply of water and food into her backpack. She added a first aid kit and a signal flashlight. Her phone was fully charged. The climb started at dawn. Anna left her house just as the first rays of the sun touched the mountain peaks. Taking a deep breath of the fresh, cool air, birds chirped cheerfully overhead, promising great weather. The girl chose her favorite route on the eastern slope. The trail began near an old pine tree with an unusually curved trunk. The first hour of the path passed through dense forest. Then the trail rose to rocky outcrops. Anna walked at a steady pace. She wasn't in a hurry. She wanted to remember every minute of this difficult but very interesting hike. From time to time, she stopped to take pictures. The mountain flowers in the morning dew were especially beautiful at a rest stop. The girl took out a thermos of hot tea. Steam rose from the cup in the cool air. Everything around was quiet. Only a light breeze rustled the treetops. After 2 hours of climbing, the forest began to thin. The alpine meadow began to stretch out before her, low, hardy grass dotted with bursts of bright mountain flowers. The air turned crisp as Anna reached a plateau, revealing a stunning view of the valley below. She pulled out her camera, smiling as she framed shots to send to her parents. Then came a sound, soft, strange, almost like a baby crying. It echoed from somewhere below, stopping her cold. She listened. Again, the cry came, filled with pain and fear. Heart pounding, she crept to the edge of the plateau and looked down. On a narrow ledge about 15 meters below, a bear cub was trapped, its back paw wedged tightly between rocks. The tiny cub trembled, crying louder with each desperate tug. Suddenly, a deep growl broke through the air. Anna's eyes snapped upward. A massive bear, its mother, paced anxiously on a rocky outcrop above. The slope was too steep, crumbling under her every attempt to descend. Rockfalls tumbled dangerously close to the cub. The mother growled again, frantic. Anna took a breath, eyes darting between the ledge and the bear. She had to think fast. The slope was too steep for the bear. Without help, the cub couldn't free itself. Its paw was badly stuck. Eventually, the cub would either die from hunger and thirst or fall into the abyss. Anna took out her phone and sent a message to her parents, giving them the exact coordinates of her location. She also wrote that she planned to help the trapped animal and promised to contact them in an hour. Then Anna began to prepare for the descent. She pulled out her climbing rope from her backpack and checked her gear. She took off her jacket so it wouldn't restrict her movements and removed unnecessary items from her backpack. The descent would be extremely difficult and dangerous. The cliff was almost vertical. There were very few handholds and footholds. The surface of the rock was wet with dew in places. One wrong move could be fatal. Anna began her descent slowly and carefully. She thought through every step. She checked every hold several times. Sweat was pouring into her eyes, and her hands started shaking from the strain. The bear noticed the human's movement and began growling aggressively in anger. The predator even knocked rocks and branches down, trying to protect her cub. Because of this, Anna had to press against the cliff, dodging falling objects. The descent took almost half an hour. Every minute felt like an eternity. Finally, Anna reached the level of the cub. Now she had to move horizontally along the very narrow ledge. Anna slowly shifted her weight from foot to foot, trying not to look down at the deadly sharp rocks below. The bear cub noticed the approaching human. It tried to crawl away, but it's trapped. Paw wouldn't let it. Its cries grew louder and more pitiful. So Anna started talking in a calm, quiet voice. She spoke simple, soothing words, slowly moving closer to the scared animal, giving it time to get used to her presence. Gradually, the cub began to calm down. Its cries became quieter and it trembled less. It watched her movements with curiosity. The fear in its eyes was replaced with interest. When Anna finally got close to the cub, she was able to assess the situation better. The cub's paw was trapped between two large rocks. Luckily, there were no signs of a fracture, just a few small scrapes on the skin. The girl took a rope from her pocket. She needed to tie the cub up so it wouldn't fall. After being freed, Anna slowly extended her hand toward the animal, trying to gauge its reaction. To her surprise, the cub didn't resist. Not only did it allow itself to be tied, but it also pressed against her as if seeking protection. This moment of trust between the human and the wild animal was incredible. Now came the most difficult part, freeing the paw. Anna carefully began to rock one of the stones. She tried to work as gently as possible so as not to hurt the cub. It was a slow and painstaking job. Every movement could send the cub into another panic. Anna often stopped giving it time to calm down. She stroked its head and spoke kind words. After 15 minutes, the stone finally began to give way. Anna increased her effort. Suddenly, the stone shifted. The cub's paw was free. It immediately tried to stand, but its leg had gone numb and didn't work well. Anna examined the freed paw. There were no serious injuries, just a few small scratches and bruises. The cub would heal in time, but right now, it had to be lowered safely to the ground. Climbing back up with it wasn't an option. It was too risky. Anna's only choice was to tie the cub securely and lower it down with her rope, then make the descent herself. She double-checked every knot, her fingers steady despite the nerves. As she guided the cub toward the ledge, panic returned. It squirmed and cried, resisting her touch. Anna stopped, crouching beside it. She spoke softly, stroking its fur, letting it feel her calm. Bit by bit, the cub relaxed again, trusting her enough to continue. Finally, it lay still, allowing her to begin the descent. Lowering the cub was nerve-wracking. Anna's arms trembled as she fed the rope slowly through her hands, sweat stinging her eyes. When the cub touched the ground, it stood frozen, then suddenly burst into joyful hops. It was safe. Anna wiped her forehead, untied the rope, and prepared to follow. Exhausted, she pushed through the pain. The descent took 20 grueling minutes, but at last, her feet hit solid ground. Anna lay down on the grass, unable to move. The cub who had been waiting below ran up to her. It started playing, nudging her with its nose and trying to climb on her. Anna smiled because the little predator's behavior now resembled that of a playful puppy. Suddenly, they heard a noise in the bushes. Anna froze. A berry emerged from the thicket. It had found a way down through a gentler slope and now stood just a few meters from the human. Anna knew she couldn't run. She couldn't even stand up. All she could do was lie still and hope for the best. The cub continued playing nearby, unaware of the tense situation, to Anna's immense relief. The bear showed no aggression. It slowly approached the cub and carefully sniffed it, satisfied that it wasn't hurt. The bear surprisingly allowed the cub to continue playing near the human. The large predator suddenly disappeared into the bushes. A minute later, it returned carrying Anna's backpack in its teeth, which had fallen during the descent. The bear gently placed it next to her and stepped back a few paces. Anna struggled to sit up. She took a bottle of water from her backpack and drank it. Greedily, the bear and the cub stayed nearby. It seemed as if they were guarding the person who had just saved a precious life. Time passed, but the animals didn't leave. The cub continued playing beside Anna. The bear lay calmly nearby. This amazing scene felt unreal. Voices were heard in the distance. Anna's parents were hurrying to check if she was all right. The bear stood up. It approached Anna and lightly touched her leg with its paw. There was no aggression in the gesture. It seemed like the bear was saying goodbye and thanking her for the help. The cub ran up to Anna one last time. It pressed its warm nose against her shoulder. Then the bear growled softly, pawing its cub. They slowly walked into the forest and disappeared among the trees. A few minutes later, Anna's parents arrived. They saw their daughter sitting on the grass surrounded by large bear tracks. Their faces showed both worry and relief. Her father was the first to approach her. He immediately noticed the rope marks on her hands and her rumpled clothes. Her mother pulled out water and a dry shirt from her bag. Anna briefly told them what had happened. Then she showed them the spot on the cliff where the cub had been trapped. Her parents listened silently, realizing with horror what their daughter had just gone through. Her father climbed up the gentle slope. He gathered the things Anna had left on the platform. He found her jacket and camera. Everything was intact. Her mother examined Anna's hands. There were blisters and small cuts from the sharp rocks on her palms. She treated her daughter's wounds from the first aid kit. When Anna tried to stand up, her legs gave way from exhaustion. Her parents helped her to her feet, slowly supporting their daughter from both sides. They began their descent back to the village. The next morning, Anna set off for her training, not just with a backpack full of essentials, but with something far more meaningful: the memory of her extraordinary encounter with the bear family, and the quiet, profound gratitude in the animal's eyes. Whenever training grew difficult, Anna would think back to that day. The memory of rescuing the bear cub became her source of strength, a quiet reminder of why she had chosen this path. And in her heart, she knew she was exactly where she was meant to be.